Hello, and welcome to the 30th episode of the Play Up podcast. It's very early in the season, but there is a lot to be encouraged about Pompey at the moment. We sit high in the table, and arguably the squad is looking competitive in every position. To no doubt contradict that positivity, I'm joined by the Play Up podcast team of Tim, Phil and Reese. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Feel free to not contradict me, obviously, but we'll see what happens after that.
We're going to win the league.
We are going to win the league. It's very true. So we start off with Pompey's trip to West Brom and a chance to make up for the puzzling defensive performance against Norwich the previous week. Pompey had the first chance with a smart through ball from Segacic, which created a chance for Bianchini, who forced a good save when through one-on-one. West Brom took the lead from a wicked shot from 25 yards by Mikey Johnson, which Schmidt didn't even move for, and the half ended with the home side in front. They nearly made it 2-0 with a shot from Mowat, which hit the post early in the second half. Pompey's midfield again not closing down, a shot from 25 yards. Pompey were again trying to get the ball wide in space to Murphy, and he delivered a great cross which allowed Bishop to flick a terrific header to equalise. The remainder of the game perhaps shows how different this season will be away from home, as Pompey defended magnificently for the remainder of the game. West Brom claimed a penalty from a great last-ditch tackle by Ogilvie in the box, replays showing that he definitely got a toe on the ball. Then Baggy's manager Ryan Mason was shown a red card for a tantrum on the touchline where he amazingly threw himself to the floor like a toddler being denied a new toy. The reason for this outburst was a tussle between Poole and Hegerber, which the Baggies thought should have been a straight red, as Poole was the last man. Again, replays showed there was little in it. A very hard-fought point for Pompey on the road, which was very excellent to see after last season's difficulties away from home. So, gentlemen, we got unbeaten away from home after 2 games. Amazing.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thought it? Well, to be fair, who did call it that we were actually going to get a draw against West Brom? Was it you, Phil?
I think we did.
Yeah. So, Reese, would you like to go first on the West Brom trip? Because you were actually there.
I was about to say, it definitely wasn't me because I was going and I was expecting us to get spanked again. But actually, it was a really pleasing, enjoyable performance. I mean, it was... when Bianchini missed that one-on-one, I thought, oh, crikey, here we go. But it was a great ball by Segacic. He did the right thing to lift it over. I think the goalkeeper just got out so quickly. It was a really, really good save. But for them to score, it was a really, really good shot, really good goal. But I think we just battled in there. And as you say, the goal from the header was absolutely brilliant. I mean, considering he missed a penalty the week before, I mean, that's why you just can't write him off. And how important Murphy is, who really, I don't think he's really had a good game since this season, but he just needs one moment and we get a draw. And then, as you say, it was a great battling performance. At the game, I was quite sceptical that the ref got it right on those 2 decisions, but looking back on it, absolutely, I think it might have been a bit different if their centre forward, when he was tussling with Poole, actually went down. But it was a good, honest centre forward, centre back tussle. And as you said, the touch from Ogilvie, how the ref saw that, I don't know, because I didn't see that until about after 4 or 5 times looking at the replay. But he absolutely does. And I thought there might be an argument, well, does he get the player before he touches the ball? But I'm not convinced. So I thought it was a good, fair game. And yeah, we thoroughly deserved the draw. And as you said earlier, I think it does hopefully lend to a more positive performances on the road this season. So yeah, really, really good performance.
It was definitely the type of game we would have lost last season. Definitely. That last 20, 25 minutes where we were again dropping off and backing off and defending really, really well. I mean, I don't think West Brom had a shot on target apart after the Mo-up one. So, it was a really good stout defence by us. And I think the pleasing thing is, and also against Preston again, I can't remember when LaRue came on against West Brom, but he played a good 20
minutes.
Well, I was going to say, but played a good at least 20, 25 minutes. So if it was half an hour, then that just shows that compared to last season, we've actually got players who can come off the bench and make a good contribution, even if it is, defending a point or defending a lead. Tim, Bishop, again's got his critics. I know a chap sits behind me, Rob, always starts off the game saying, I'm not going to criticise Bishop, and then 30 seconds into the game, he's going, "Why, he miscontrolled it," and the rest of it. That goal, hopefully, should give him a lot of confidence and should quieten the supporters for a while. I think it was important for him. Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it was absolutely brilliant header, as Reece just said as well. Fantastic cross from Murphy for it as well. So absolutely brilliant goal. Going into the game, I thought we'd be lucky to get anything there. I thought West Brom would be one of those teams that would be right up there this season. So it maybe rode like on a few occasions when Moet hit the post, and whether the Ogilvy challenge at the end was a penalty. I have to admit, I've seen it a few times and I thought it was a penalty every time I've looked at it. So I'm very, very happy that it wasn't given. Feels like a little bit of karma after the penalty appeal that he had in the previous game against Norwich as well. But to end up getting a point out of that, I think it shows that we've come a little way since last season, especially the last time we played them up there, we were 4-0 down at half time. But going back to the original point, the Colby header, absolutely amazing. So I know there's always people that are going to criticise him. I'm definitely a Colby happy clapper. I think he's absolutely awesome. Yeah, keep getting behind him, because he's going to do that this season at important times and get us important goals.
Yeah, how many goals do you think he'll get this season? Because he's always going to play. If he's 75, 88% fit, at least Mousinho will start him. So how many goals do you think he can get this season?
Well, I suppose it depends if he's still on penalties. I presume he is going to be. His penalty records has been pretty good, but he's got a few misses to his name now. But I see no reason why he shouldn't be aiming for 15 or 16, something like that.
Yeah, that's a decent shout.
Yeah,
Phil, what can you imagine if Mousinho behaved like Ryan Mason did in that game? Have you seen the replays of him throwing himself to the floor, slamming his fist? It's absolutely. I mean, he got a booking for it, and then he got sent off for whatever the altercation was. Oh, no, sorry, that's when he got sent off. So he obviously had a booking for the Ogilvy complaint, where he obviously said a few things to the fourth official, and then for the tussle between Paul and Hegerberg, that's when he basically literally threw himself to the floor on all fours and was slamming the ground like that, as if he'd been denied an ice cream. It was ridiculous. Can you imagine if Mousinho behaved like that? Can you? And I've never seen anything like it, to be honest.
No. I think I know John gets quite emotional in the technical area, but no, I don't think he's a tantrum sort of a man. I don't think anyone on the bench is a tantrum sort of man. But with our new coach, our new first team coach and set piece coordinator, I don't think he'd stand for any of that. Mousinho did that. He'd deliver a quick smack to the chops, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah. Tell him to grow up. Yeah, well, that's very true. What did you think of the game as a whole, Phil?
Well, I thought it was a really well won point. To be honest, I thought we, like you say, I think previous games you could see that 94th minute winner coming, but we were resolute in defence. I think Paul was back to the Paul of old. I think he was rightly criticised for his performance against Norwich, and I think he responded in the way you want him to respond. He threw himself in front of everything. He was blocking. He was marshalling the defence. I thought he was lucky with the decision with the sort of tussle with their centre forward. I would have thought if the boot was on the other foot, we'd have been disappointed not to get anything out of that. But them's the breaks, I guess. I thought other positives. I thought Dazelle and Swift. I'm not convinced by Dazelle and Swift as a partnership. Well, certainly wasn't for the West Brom game. I think it reminded me of Pack and Dazelle from the start of last season, where Dazelle was doing sort of 75% of the work, and Pack was sort of doing 25%. Well, Swift's passing was off as well. And I wasn't surprised to see him get hooked, and we certainly looked a lot more solid when LaRue came on. I don't know if it was playing against his old team back at the Hawthorns, but it was a bit disappointing. Murphy's cross, as we say, Bishop's goal, excellent. I noticed with Murphy so far this season, he seems to be delivering these balls into the box 5, 6, 7 yards earlier than he was last season. and he seems to get an amazing amount of whip on them. And with a player like Bishop, if he's in the right place, the only thing going to happen is a ball in the net. So I think, as Reece said, not vintage Murphy performance, but he still pulls out a bit of magic, and that's what you want from players of that class.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well, Phil, especially in the game against Preston as well. Is that in the first half that he put 3 or 4 of those balls in, not one touch to push it a little bit wider of his defender and then whipping it in, and Colby getting across his man, and it was an amazing header against West Brom. Really, really good goal.
He reminded me of Darren Anderton in his prime.
Onto Sheringham's head
like that. There's a story goes that I can't remember which one of the coaches it was. He used to do extra crossing training with Anderton, and he had the way technology and training aids have changed. He used to get a tea tray from the canteen and used to put it somewhere in the penalty area, and Anderton would just whip balls in trying to hit this tea tray. So it was that kind of delivery.
Well, that's fair enough, because the saying is putting it on a sixpence. At least the tea tray is a bit bigger than a sixpence.
Yeah.
Gave him half a chance there, didn't it? So after that great point, we go on to a week later, Pompey's second home game against high-flying Preston, it has to be said. Preston arrived unbeaten this season, and they showed why, as they gave Pompey a very physical game. It seemed as if they had signed a number of basketball players, such was the height in the team. A free kick from 30 yards was the first chance for Pompey, Swift firing narrowly over with an audacious shot. A chance on the left was created when Ogilvie made one of his inverted runs and crossed for Bishop to fire in a shot, which produced a very good save, but the Pompey man was offside anyway. Then Preston's first real chance came on their left when the impressive Small, ironically named for a Preston player, fired across goal for a throw-in after a throw-in routine. Bishop again tested Everson in the Preston goal from a Murphy cross, the keeper making a great save again, which went out for a corner. The corner was played short and worked to Dazelle, who fired in from 20 yards. I defy anyone to have predicted that pre-game. That took Pompey into half-time as worthy leaders. In the second half, Murphy dragged a shot well wide when he should have done much better. He was put through by an Ogilvie throw, and it was a poor miss. Preston then took control of the game, but despite plenty of pressure and possession, did not force Schmidt into a save, and it was Pompey who almost doubled their lead at the death. Murphy was put through one-on-one by Devlin, but lifted his ball over the bar. So Pompey's first home win on the board, and with their 7 points from 4 games, they sit in 8th position above the Scummers in the league structure for the first time in 14 years. Yes, get in. So, Tim, I'll give you first crack at the Preston game. What was your thoughts on that one?
Oh, I thought we started really well. I thought the first half was great. Few chances, probably could have had more than one really, but at least we got that one. Second half definitely became a complete battle and a real, test of our defence. I thought the defence stood up absolutely brilliantly to it. So I thought Paul was excellent in it. Thought Dazelle had an absolutely brilliant game in midfield as well. He's really starting to be more and more of an important player, I think, the more he seems to play for us. But overall, absolutely brilliant battling performance. 3 points, clean sheet, win at home. Did you say 8th in the table, above Southampton? Brilliant, really. Couldn't really ask for more than that.
No, absolutely. What did you make of it, Phil?
I thought it was a really, really hard-fought victory. And again, one that, last season we might not have got something out of. I think Scott, don't want to besmirch your good name, but I think you were tipping Preston for relegation this season. I would have tended to agree with you. They were a well-disciplined side. They played a very strong side, competed for everything. I think they'll be fine. I thought, we were great. Dazelle, as Tim says, I think when you saw the signings come in this season, you would have thought Dazelle's the one under threat here. But I think he's been brilliant this season, and it's his driving runs with the ball when he brings the ball forward gives a sort of extra dimension. I thought Swift, after my criticisms of his performance against West Brom, I thought it was the best performance he's put in the Pompey shirt. I enjoyed watching him. You could see the class with him. Maybe he's just one of those, a bit like Richie last season, that's going to take a little while to settle, and when he has, we'll see the best of him. Murphy didn't have his shooting boots on, that's for certain, which was unfortunate. And obviously, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, sort of gave rise to the he's had his head turned, his head's not in the game, this sort of thing. But I think it was one of those things. He was trying a bit hard, and it didn't sort of come for him. I think Segicic was fairly quiet, and I think that again was a credit to Preston. They obviously identified him as a danger man and kept him fairly quiet. But yeah, good, really, really good performance, and a valid point, and well worth man of the match for Andre Dozzell.
Yeah, absolutely. Reece, the changes made in the second half. So LaRue came on very early again. I'm not sure whether it was 57th minute, but it was around about that. So, but instead of replacing Swift then went into the number 10 role, and Segicic went out wide right. Do you think that's going to be our starting lineup against the Scummers on Sunday?
Do you know what? I just don't think it is. We haven't spoken about the transfer window yet, but you've got to. I think most Pompey fans with their heads screwed on would say that's a pretty successful window. He is quite loyal, and if the team's winning, he will stick with them. But I think there might be one or two changes. I'll be surprised if Chaplin doesn't start. I think the Segicic is. As Phil said, it was his quietest game. I'm not quite sure whether out wide number 10 seems his best. Out wide seems to be where he sometimes can have a lot more effect, especially in the kind of latter stages of the game. But I don't know. Is he going to continue with Swanson at right back, or is he going to bring Williams in? Swift, he hasn't quite settled, and he doesn't look quite in the right place. Especially against Preston early on, he was misplacing passing, but he got better in the game. But could he start LaRue just to kind of make it a little bit tighter? I don't know. But yeah, I think there will be a couple of changes, but we'll see.
I suppose the advantage with LaRue coming in is that he's not been here long. I mean, he obviously realises what a club derby is, but he's not going to be as affected by it as perhaps someone who, like Marlon Pack, who would have more skin in the game if you imagine. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Do you throw a new guy in and he gets overwhelmed, or do you throw him and he eats water off a duck's back because he's not as involved?
Well, the thing is, Swift's a local boy as well, so I mean, I think. If you get him in there, maybe actually his experience would be good in there. I think I totally agree about Dozzell. He's really kicked on. I don't know whether as Mousinho coached it into him a little bit more. He definitely looks a little bit more effective offensively going forward. But yeah, it's a tough one. But actually, it's a nice kind of situation to be in, as they say, compared to last year when we were playing weight games and we were rotating a lot and we weren't sure whether we were going to have even 11 who could compete in the championship, where now we've got a little bit more strength in depth.
Well, isn't it funny? Silvera is playing a decent part in Middlesbrough's charge to the top. Isn't that strange? Really, that it
always rated him.
Can't be the same player that they sent to us on loan, surely. But anyway, that's how football is. Sometimes you find a club where you fit, and sometimes you find a club where you can't get a foothold in it. And that's probably what happened with Silvera last year. Right. So, Phil, I think it is definitely time for your quiz. So lay it on us, please.
Well, as we've just and we'll touch on later, we've been through an exciting transfer window. I've already done a quiz about who our biggest transfer incomings were. I thought I'd do one on our biggest transfer outgoings. So I have got the 12 players that we have sold for the most money, and same rules as before. You get however many you can guess. Get the fee to the nearest $500,000. If you name the player, you get that amount in points. So let's just say we'll use Carl Tyler again. If we'd sold Carl Tyler for 12 million, you get 12 million points. A bonus of $1 million for the club we sold them to, and a bonus if you can get the fee correct. So we're going to start off. Those 12 players, if you can guess the total that we sold them for, whoever gets closest gets to go first. Scott, what have you got?
Well, I've got a lot higher than I did last time, so I'm going to go for 68 million.
68 million.
That's very close. I'm going to go 67 million.
Tim,
Well, I'm going to go slightly the other way then and say 55.
55, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, you're all well out. It was 112.5 million.
On 12 players.
Wow, indeed.
You should have
Bloody
gone one
hell.
over, Reese.
Scott, yeah, should have. Didn't think.
So Scott is Scott's the closest somehow. So Scott, let's go. Who are you going for first?
Well, I think most of the ones that we brought in for decent amounts have probably gone out for decent amounts. So I'll go for Jermaine Defoe to Spurs for 6 million.
Well, it's a good start. Correct with Jermaine Defoe. Correct to Spurs. But we sold him for a whopping 16.
What? That wasn't in the books. That was never in the books.
I'm trying to remember when Peter Story was involved. Sorry, any libel lawyers listening?
That went straight in Chan Rai's lockup. That did.
Yes, but good solid start, Scott. 17 million points on the board. Reese, over to you.
But what I was thinking was Diarra for 20 million to Real Madrid.
Well, Diarra, correct. He did go to Real Madrid. It was only 19 million. That's a good guess, but still, you've crept into the lead. Over
now
to
that's
you,
a
Tim.
great example of the player trading model. Bought him for 5, sold for 19. Come on, Eisner, sort your life out.
Well, that was going to be my one, Lasana Diarra. I'll have to pick someone else now. Peter Crouch, obviously, a couple of occasions. I think once he went for about 5 or 6 million to Aston Villa. Do we add the two fees together for the one player? And I think he went for about 11 million to Liverpool, I want to say.
So what are you going for, Tim? It's about 5 answers you give me then.
Trying to cover as many bases as possible. All right, then Peter Crouch, 11 million Liverpool. Did he go from us to them? No, he came from them, didn't he? He came from them.
Where did he go?
Did he go to Spurs after us? I'll change my mind to
Spurs. Go to Spurs. Yes, but it was 10 million. But again, good solid start. And we're back to Scott now.
Okay, I'm going to go for Distan. Went to Everton for 7 million.
Distan did go to Everton, but it was only 5 million, which I think was a bargain, to be honest.
I was worried it was a free transfer, but there we go. I got something.
Right. Over to you, Reese.
I'm going to go Eunice Cabal to Spurs for 4 million.
Eunice Cabal. Everyone's just missing out. Eunice Cabal did go to Spurs, 5 million. Right, over to you, Tim.
I think who else there? I can think of quite a few players on their signing fee for us, but not then what happened to them afterwards. Trying to think of. Obviously, there's plenty of other players from the Premiership days, but are there any outside of that? Is what I'm thinking. How much did we get from Matt Clark?
I don't know. That's a clue.
Not Matt Clark, then. Not Matt Clark. Go for someone a bit more obvious. Where did Yakubu go?
You're supposed to be telling us.
Was it Middlesbrough first? Oh, well, I think he went to Middlesbrough first, didn't he? And then he played for Everton and other clubs. Fee, God knows, 8 million.
Oh, again, it's so close. You're absolutely correct. Yakubu to Middlesbrough for 7.5 million.
Oh,
Smashing it.
But we're all it's very competitive. We've got Tim on 19.5 million. We've got Scott on 23 million. We've got Reese on 26 million. So over to you, Scott.
I've never been in this deep into the composition before.
Is that nosebleed you've got there?
I've always been out at first round. I was going to think Yakubu, so that one's gone. Didn't Nugent go to? Nugent went somewhere for 5 million, I think, or 4.5.
Yeah.
He went to. No, he went to. Did he go to Leicester? Nugent to Leicester for 4.5 million. I'll go for.
He might have done. But it's not in my top 12, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. I will pass then to Reese.
Go on, Reese.
I was going to go for Suleiman Tari to. Did he go to an Italian club for about 11 million?
Which Italian club, Reese? If it was an Italian club.
I am delving into the depths of my memory. I'll go Inter Milan.
It was Inter Milan, Reese. It was Inter Milan. It's 12.5 million, but well done. Powering into the lead. Tim, over to you.
Was it my go again already?
I'm amazed you've got so many right so far.
See, I've had Yakubu. When did Benjani make that move to Man City under Sven? The old famous fell asleep at the airport story and stuff like that. Because that was about 5 or 6 million, wasn't it? Something like that.
I'm liking the way he's asking the answering the questions.
See if I get any nods. See if I get any nods. I'm going to say 6 million Benjani Man City.
Well, Benjani Man City was correct. Only 4 million. Only 4 million.
Again.
Back to you then, Scott. We're missing our second highest transfer outgoing fee.
Are we?
We are.
Yeah, I can't think of who that would be. So we've got number one. The next one
is number one.
Okay, that would Campbell would have been a free transfer. Glenn Johnson to Liverpool, 7.5 million.
Very good, Glenn Johnson to Liverpool, but 18.5 million. Our second highest transfer.
Wow,
that was never in the books again either.
I'm about to say not appearing on any accounts anywhere.
No, that money definitely went east.
We're going to have to run this past our legal team before this podcast comes out. So you may not hear this one until the end of the season. So well done, Scott.
Good shot. Yeah, good shot.
Yeah, let's put you in the lead. Come on, Reese.
I was gonna. I don't know whether he went or came from there, but I'm going to go John Utaka, 5 million to Lons.
I think we signed him from Lons.
I couldn't remember which one it.
Okay. Over to Tim.
God, I haven't got much else left here. I haven't got much else left here. If we can allow for inflation, can I say Mark Hateley to AC Milan? Something like that.
So we've got, let me just tell you how many we've got left. We've got 1, 2, 3 left to get.
Okay, I think we're in clue territory.
Yeah.
We're in clue territory. Okay, clue number 1. Tim, you've already mentioned him once.
Really? God, I can't even remember what I've just said.
And got points for him as well.
Oh, what, is it Crouch again then?
It is Crouch again then.
That would be the sale to Aston Villa then?
Yeah.
Which I thought was about 5 million.
It was exactly. You're the first person to get something bang on the nose with the fee. £5 million that bought us a transfer.
Yeah. Great bit of business.
Well done. So we're now going back to Scott. Scott, there's 2 on here. Mm-hmm. One of them was amongst our record transfer ins. The other one wasn't.
And that's the clue, is it?
Okay.
One of them went to Italy. The other one didn't. One of them has a double-barrel Christian name. The other one doesn't.
Barrel Christian name.
Quincy Owusu, a baby, or whatever his name was. He went to.
Don't be silly. No one's ever sold him for a fee.
It's that time of the quiz to get silly, I think.
Yeah.
I'm completely stumped.
Yeah,
even the double barrel thing doesn't jog any memories.
Played in an FA Cup final.
Oh, Kevin Prince Boateng.
Well done, Scott. Where did he go and how much for?
I think he went to AC Milan and probably. Do you want the real transfer fee or the one that was advertised? I'd say 9 million.
No, he went for 5 million, and it wasn't AC Milan. And I'd forgotten this. He did end up at AC Milan, but he went via Genoa.
Okay,
completely forgot that.
I would never have got that.
So we've basically got one left that basically we didn't.
We've got one left. We didn't pay a fee for him. What else can I tell you?
What's his name? Thought I'd slip it in there just in case.
He played in Man and Boy. He's been a manager.
Okay.
He's been a paper boy.
Gary O'Neill.
Very good.
Did he go to Middlesbrough for something like 5 million?
He went to Middlesbrough for exactly 5 million.
Well done, Reese. Brilliant. I think that.
So this is all very exciting. Now we've got them all, and we've got a photo finish. We do have a winner. The winner's not Tim, unfortunately. Tim, sorry, you ended up with 31.5 million points.
Yeah.
Reese, you got 46.5 million points, but our winner tonight is Scott with 47.5 million points.
No way.
Well done, Scott.
Thank you. Yeah, that's never happening again. I can tell you
that. It will never happen.
Thank you, Phil.
Phil.
We'll move on to the exciting transfer window, which we've all just discussed or mentioned a few times in our match summations. So let me just run through all of our signings over the course of since the season started. So we got another goalkeeper, Joseph Bursic from Cercle Bruges, Josh Knight for £1 million from Hanover 96, Luc Leroux from Olsvengan, Mark Kosnowski from Budapest, and so we've got 2 loan players as well, Min Yang from Spurs and Florian Bianchini from Swansea, Adrian Segacic from Sydney, of course, Franco Ume from Crystal Palace, another wide forward. Mackenzie Kirk from St Johnstone, another striker. And obviously the biggie, the one that everyone was talking about, was the return of Connor Chaplin, one of our own, from Ipswich on loan. Phil, you can go first on the transfer window. Obviously, Connor's the highlight. How are you feeling about the squad compared to the start of August?
Well, much happier. It's amazing what difference one transfer can make, because up until the last knockings of the transfer window, I was concerned that whilst a lot of our business looked pretty good on paper, we were investing in potential. And I think Franco Ume, who looks like quite an exciting player, but very similar to Harvey Blair. I thought the Mackenzie Kirk again on transfer deadline day, again, really good one for the future. And it was all about, it's all about potential. Have we consider the sort of then and now? And then suddenly out of the blue, up pops the Worthing Messi. Suddenly we've signed on loan a player that's, arguably in their prime. He's 28, and for a forward, that's kind of like a period where they've established themselves, and they're in the prime of their game. So I'm sure we'll talk about Connor Chaplin more, but I think overall it's been a good transfer window. Up until that point, I'd be going, yeah, good, but have we got enough experience? But I think he sort of changes the picture completely. Just a couple of others to pick out. Joseph Bursic's an interesting one, because I think we all thought that Ben Killip had established himself as Schmidt's number 2, but I'd say Bursic probably comes with a slightly better resume, so that would be interesting to see where he fits in. Don't really know. I think we talked about recently the likes of Leroux, who I think looks to be the pick of the midfielders. Not quite sure where Kosnowski's going to fit in. I think Jamie said that he'd spoken to a Hungarian taxi driver who said he could name 20 better Hungarian midfielders. So, yeah, an interesting one, and some interesting business, I think.
So I think with Leroux's 25, isn't he? He's not a kid. He's in the mid-20s. I mean, he hasn't obviously played at the level that he's now playing now, but it's encouraging that he's obviously impressing Mousinho, and I've seen him 3 times now, and he seems to be of first team, level, which is great, because you want at least 1 or 2 of these punts to actually start paying dividends from the start. Obviously, some might develop, like you said about Ume. It might take him a few months to get into his stride, but we've got the problem that we don't have a reserve side. So where are these people going to get playing minutes? That's the problem we've always had with this squad. We've now got 31 on the squad. Obviously, you can only have 25 senior players, the rest covered under 21. So I think everyone is eligible. Tim, what's obviously Chaplin stands out, but who else do you think might be able to make an impact on the first team?
I like the look of Leroux as well. I have to agree with everyone what they've said with that. I thought in the last game he did quite well when he came on. I think he looks like a real tough character as well, which I quite like about him. There was a point when the ball was blasted in his face. I don't know if anybody saw it, sort of over by the north stand, and he just sort of like did a sort of half a second grimace and then got back on with running at whoever he was running at again, which I quite like the look of. On to the other bits though, I think until we'd signed Chaplin, my pick of the bunch was Segacic, who I thought had looked excellent in certain spells in our opening games and looks like a real prospect. I think he can do quite well out on the right as well. He's looked okay out there, maybe not quite as effective, maybe in the middle, but I guess we'll find out over the coming months where his best position is and whether he's sort of versatile enough to play in all of them. But he looks like he's got some really skillful quick feet, and looks like he's going to be a really exciting one to watch for me. A few of the others I don't know too much about, but I mean the defender We got Josh Knight. I don't know too much about him. I know he came on for the last 10 in the last game, but I think it's looking. Look, we've got a real bit of depth of squad in various areas now because of this transfer window, which sort of bodes well for me. So yeah, I'd say Segicic is my other pick.
So Reece, there was quite an interesting bit of chat late on today on the WhatsApps, and Jamie said even though he's not here because he's off seeing Greg Davis being extremely funny, I'm sure he did want to contribute tonight. So I'll probably let me read out what he said, and then obviously you and Phil and Tim can follow up with what you actually said on the WhatsApp. So Jamie said, my argument is probably different. I feel we sold the club on the cheap on the promise of investment, but I didn't realise that investment would only ever go into physical assets, the buildings. The first thing they did was dismantle our promotion-winning squad and made about 7 million for 3 of those sales, but didn't ever put any of that back on the pitch, and still haven't. Every player purchased since came out of running costs, not that 7 million, nor Eisner's own pocket. Debatable. I can't deny it's not working, but I still feel I was bamboozled by Eisner's sales pitch. He hinted at Premiership within 5 to 10 years and left me thinking he'd invest far more on the pitch than fan ownership ever could. The truth, hasn't invested a single penny of his own money on the pitch. Buildings, sure, pitch, nothing us fans couldn't have done. So I've got some sympathies there with him, obviously. I voted to not sell, and we all remember those of us who were there, the eyes on the pitch, Mr. Disney. And as we could argue, is that clubs like Wrexham and Birmingham are doing the Disney thing far better than we are. Phil, Tim, and Reece, I'd like you to sort of reply to that sort of point of view, if you can, whether you agree, disagree, or what you can say against it.
Yeah, I think, Jamie and I come at this in slightly different angles, and I was one of the 14% who said not to sell. So, but I do remember and have got quotes from that time or that presentation. I don't know whether I can't remember him saying Premiership within 10 years. I do remember him saying that he would be invested in the club. They would look at the youth setup as well, but if we got to the Championship, then investment would. I can't remember his exact words, but he said something would go up to substantial or something like that. And maybe we're just seeing this at the moment. We all know the average Championship team lose £20 million a year, and I think I would be more inclined to agree with Jamie's argument if we got relegated. But we all knew that staying up was the key aim. They clearly had a plan. It was risky, but at the end of the day, it worked last season. You can't complain about that. And I think on paper, the signings do feel like a step above. I think it's been widely kind of communicated that we went we had to go to the Eisners to get some more financial backing for Chaplin. This is an ex-Premiership player in his prime at the moment, so he's not going to be on cheap wages. But I just think I think the Championship can swallow you financially if you're not careful, and I just think the Islanders are being very, very careful. They're not spunking cash left, right, and centre like Birmingham and Wrexham are. Fair play that they've got people who are doing that. But actually, I'm really pleased with where we are, how we're progressing. I think coming out of a period where we almost lost the club, I'm very grateful to have a club, and I just think we're improving and we're getting better, and it's incrementally build better. We've got a great manager that, again, nobody else wanted. They made a great decision there, and the whole yes, I think that there are some things about the assets and things they needed to invest in that, but everybody said, oh, they're going to sell. They still haven't sold, and I'm not sure they are going to anytime soon. But to me, they're not penny pinching. They're just being very financially astute. But more importantly, it is working. So why would you go around spunking cash and losing 20 million a year to possibly be in a similar situation to what we're going to be at the end of the season? It'd be very interesting to see where we are at the end of the season. Overall, I'm very happy with them. I think they've been one of our best owners in the last 50 years. Whenever you take over a club like Pompey or any football club, you've got no idea, unless you're going to chuck millions, billions at it. You can't guarantee how things are going to go. But it's not been an easy ride. I think they have got some things wrong, but where we are now, we're not a Reading and we're not a Sheffield Wednesday, which we could have been. So yeah, overall, I'm pleased where we are and where we're heading. And yeah, I just like the way they do the business.
Tim, I think And another point Jamie made is that I think it's more about the pace of change that he's. And this is a good quote. I get one life and want to enjoy it. If I live to 70, the Eisners have currently spent 1/7 of my time on this earth fucking it about at snail's pace. That's the Jamie we know and love. So, can you sympathise with that to a certain degree? I can. I certainly can.
Yeah.
But
totally.
I can't disagree with Reece that the incremental approach that's being done is working either. I think we've got a great squad, and I can't see. I'll make a quick point before you come in, Tim. I don't see the difference in spending £1 million on a player compared to £15 million at a player. I mean, you look at someone like Ben Brereton Diaz, who's been around the block. He had one good season for Blackburn. I think something like 50 million has been spent on him over 3 or 4 transfers. Yeah. He's not going to do it in a championship again. So you just don't know whether you need to spend 20, 30 million or whether you can get some decent loans in and 5 players in for 5 million.
Yeah, totally agree. I think with the points of kind of spending sort of so long doing it at a snail's pace, again, I could probably be more on board with that if we were still in League One.
Yes.
All those years in League One, it did feel like sometimes we were going around in circles a bit and not really making much progress as we were going. But I think the last sort of 2-3 seasons have been some of the most exciting times I've had as a Pompey fan. Do you know what I mean? I kind of I love the setup at the moment. I love the work that's been done on the ground and the pitch and everything like that. I think we've got a brilliant manager. I feel kind of like a really good affinity with the players in the squad. Kind of really love them, get behind them and support them and everything like that. And rather than just a whole load of highly paid mercenaries coming in and stuff like that, I think it's astute business that they're doing really. So I'm finding it very exciting being in the position we're in. Also where you've got teams like Wrexham and Birmingham coming in and throwing a lot of money at it as well. There's a lot of high expectation there. Whereas I think kind of our expectation isn't to just go and win the league. We're performing well in it at the moment. We've started well. Hopefully we can see these steady incremental improvements each time and everything. But equally, I wouldn't be disappointed if we suddenly went and spent 50 million quid and got promoted. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid or anything like that.
I don't think anyone would, Tim, but yeah.
But I'm thoroughly enjoying it at the moment. And, can't wait for every match to come along, especially the next one, obviously.
Well, yes, yeah. Phil, all yours.
Well, I think huge credit has to go to Andy Cullen, Richard Hughes and Tony Brown, because they are making the proverbial silk purse out of a sow's ear. Some of the recruitment, there's teams in our league would kill to have our level of recruitment. I mean, Segicic, case in point. I mean, we were crying out for sort of like a big money marquee signing, but arguably our most exciting signing of the season prior to Chaplin arriving cost us about £200,000. So I don't think you can complain about that. I mean, that's not down to the owners. That's down, and not I'm knocking them for it. It's not down to the owners. That's down to the people who scout the players, that do the deals, and that's the people that run the club. From within the UK. So, in terms of some of our business, there's been some fantastic business. Some of it will fail. We've seen that with, the likes of players like Sorensen getting Silvera in on loan, Abdullah Kamara, for example. All of these, but when you're shopping around for bargains, that is going to happen. The point that Reece makes that it's worked, which you can't argue with that. It has worked, but like most plans, most strategies, they're great when they work, and when they don't, they're not great. And there's always the possibility, as is the possibility that you could spend loads of money and screw it up. There's always the possibility that doing things, probably on the cheap, could result in us going down. So it's a risky strategy, but you can't argue the fact it's a risky strategy that's worked. We stayed in the division last season, and we're potentially going to, I know it's early days, we're potentially going to finish higher this coming season. We've certainly, in my mind, got a stronger squad overall of players that we own. I think we don't have a player of like Freddie quality this season, but Freddie Potts wasn't our player. We had him for a year. It was great, and now he's gone back. So yeah, I'm kind of in the mid. I'm kind of very much in the middle on the fence. But up until now, you can't knock what we've done because it's not gone wrong. But I think when it starts to go wrong, that's when we have to see, sort of the mettle of the owners and whether they'll change tack or not.
I think. Well, you mentioned the back office admin teams of obviously the CEO and Rich Hughes and the departing Tony Brown, but I think what we've got is we've got a coaching management team that say give us players and we'll try and improve them. We'll try and make players of them, and I think that's Mousinho backing himself as a coach of young players, and backed up with his coaching staff to say give us players that I can mould. And you look at Kosnovsky, lesser Leroux. I think Leroux looks like almost the finished article when he came, which is great. But you look at Blair, Franco Ume, Mackenzie Kirk, and Iwani Boa and a couple of others. We rave about Devlin. Is Devlin really, really good because he was a decent player, or has Mousinho spent 2 years with him and made him into a really good player? I think it's probably the latter. I think we're going to have players where it doesn't work, as you said, Phil. But I think we've got a coaching staff which is saying, give me young talent, and we back ourselves to make them first team players, as long as they've got the character to do it themselves. Obviously, you can't coach players who don't have the desire. We obviously get players in who want to be the best and want to move up the leagues. So I think that's worth mentioning as well. So I think we can all agree. I think we've got a much better squad than we did 12 months ago. But by far, I think last season we were extremely lucky to stay up. I think there was some amazing performances, several times at home that we beat teams probably we didn't have a right to beat, which gave us the platform to stay up. I think this year it will be not easier, but this year it'll be different because we can back ourselves to take on anyone in this league, and it will be interesting to see what happens a week on Sunday when we come up against the Scummers, who we are lording it over at the moment in the league. Let's go on to that game. Obviously, the Chaplin arrival added some extra spice. Before we wrap up the pod, how do we think we'll fare against the big game in a week's time? Reece, you can go first.
Oh well, I'm actually not here, so I'm away, so I didn't have the choice.
You're on holiday, Reece?
I am, yes, I am.
Well deserved.
A rarity for just this month. But
how long's the school been back? 3 days?
It's be 2 weeks, and it'll be a hellish 2 weeks. So, so work hard, play hard, and all that. Anyway, yeah, I would have gone without a shadow of a doubt, even with the bubble. I think as a football fan, you can't pick and choose your games. You go and take your medicine, or you go and you either lose or you win, and you enjoy it. Or you go on holidays. But yeah, I think it's been a really tough game, especially at their place. You've got to remember they're a Premiership team last year. They didn't have much experience in the Premiership. They've come down. Recently, they've started. It's very easy for teams to come down from the Premiership and everybody thinks, oh, yes, so you go straight back up again. I think it's a lot more difficult than that. But I think it'd be a really tough game. I mean, but you never know. If Murphy plays against the Scummers like he did against Sheffield United last season, and the defence is strong, and you've got to say we're in for a chance. But your Pompey head and your emotion is probably nervous as hell, and just hope we don't get spanked and do anything stupid on the day, and put on a good performance. So I think it's Mousinho's first one. I'm sure he'll be fully aware of what it means. So I think it's a really hard one to call, considering how we haven't lost a game away from home, and they've come down. So, but I'll say they're probably fancying it, aren't they? But I think we've got some players. If they turn up, they could really cause some damage.
So, what is your prediction?
I'm going to take a leaf out of Phil's, but sit on the fence. 2-2.
Exciting game. Right. Well, let's go to Phil then. What do you think?
I was going to go 1-1, but I think it's going to be a horrible game. It's going to be a really tense and nervous game. My biggest worry is in the middle. Think that given that it's a derby, given that it's an away derby, I think you need to go for a bit more steel in the centre. So I would not wanting to second guess the manager, but I wonder whether he's going to go for LaRue possibly over Swift in the middle. I think you can't, on current form, you can't leave Dazelle out. I just think I don't think Swift's necessarily a natural defensive midfielder, and I think that's where we've got to be careful. If we get overrun in the midfield, we're in trouble. So I'd like to see us be a lot more solid in the middle. I think Chaplin might start. I think either he starts or he comes on and scores late in the game. But I think the key thing is 2 weeks rest, and I think that's a really big thing, particularly with Murphy, because I wonder, with Murphy being injured, I think he was certainly rushed back. I wonder whether his early crossing is the fact that he's not up to pace and isn't necessarily confident taking fullbacks on at the moment. So obviously 2 weeks would be good. Also 2 weeks gives us a chance to potentially work Chaplin into the team somehow. Maybe he'll start as the 10 with Segacic wide on one side and Murphy on the left. But either way, I think it's going to be a nail-biting afternoon. But yeah, I'll go for it. I'll go for a draw.
On team selection, I think it's safe to say whatever clues Mousinho throws out during the next 7 days, I think we can dismiss those as not going to happen. he's a master of the bait and switch, isn't he? Exciting, isn't it? Are you going, or are you watching from a safety of a pub somewhere?
Yeah, I'll be watching somewhere in Pompey. So yeah, no chance of going, unfortunately. But yeah, I think probably it's probably quite likely to be an unchanged starting lineup. I think like the likely changes would be Bianchini coming out, like you say, for Chaplin to come in and Segacic to move to the right. And also not quite sure what's going on with the right back at the moment, because obviously Williams started, and then we had Swanson play the last couple of games. So maybe not sure if there's something in his mind there, but I think we're going to get 3 points. I think we're going to get a 2-1 win, and I'm definitely going for Chaplin for the winner, because that would just be fantastic, wouldn't it? I mean, the fairy tale stuff. If I can write the script, that's what I'm having.
Yeah, I think there was when he signed, I think it was quite a few bets made on him scoring the winner.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
20 quid on that easily.
I'm sure Jamie's got a winner on it. If he hasn't, he should do. I mean, on the bubble, I'd love to go, but having an autistic son is just impossible with that kind of setup. You know, the fact that it's, they're getting there really early and then not being able to come out straight away. It's just not possible for someone with that kind of hidden disability to work with that. So I had to refuse tickets this time around. So it's all round to yours, Phil, I think, hopefully. So, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I've looked forward to a game against the Scummers since the Premiership days, because there's, in my living memory, I don't think we've ever gone to their place as equals or as favourites very, very often, maybe once or twice. And I definitely think we go as equals at this point. What that means in terms of result, I'm not sure. I would be delighted with a point. A 2-1 win would make me ecstatic, Tim, as it would most of Hampshire. But I just think we're at a position team-wise where there's a huge amount of confidence. They've put in some good performances and some good results. And if we'd have lost our first 4 games, I'd be absolutely dreading it, obviously. But we have the upper hand, and let's hope that plays out on Sunday. So thank you very much for a great pod again, guys. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Reese. We will be back in probably 3 weeks' time to make sure that we've got a couple of games, including the Scummers game, to discuss. So thank you very much, gents, and I wish you all a very good evening.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.